carry the load of an extra guy.
It's tough. It's worn out. Everyone had a chance to look at it?
Looks good.
Everybody's good with it? All right, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. You get a second? All right. Well, what's going on, Ms. Jones?
A whole lot. Cheryl is working on getting the balances for all, I don't know if she'll have them done before you guys leave today, but for all the accounts. Hopefully we'll get that to you.
So balance is $111,000.
And you will have a payroll coming out of that on Tuesday, so.
Every other week we have payroll. People tell us that all the time. So it's like,
I'm
we're
not
not
sure
sure.
what the big
That's
deal
what it
is.
Yeah. I guess we should start saying bills are due every other week too. But yeah, okay. All right, well, we'll check with Juanita and see, you know, how many bills we got and how extended they are.
She's off ill today, so
Oh, well, maybe we'll take them and add them up and kind of look at them ourselves. So, all right, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dana.
Off to
You're
bigger
already lost,
fish.
Larry.
her new name's Bumblebee, though.
I think it's two, but,
What you, Jeff?
I don't know, which one do you think?
well, Samuel, whatever his name is, and Joe.
Is there any other ones that you would like to send, Jeff, or you have any opinions on it? The other ones is the
Herman maybe, you know,
Yeah, that's the only other one I was thinking.
yeah.
It
I
does.
mean, if he's interested in going and taking it, I guess it wouldn't hurt him none.
No,
It's just up to
won't
him.
cost us anything.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can suggest those three then, if you all want.
Randy, or
Dustin.
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 Yeah. All right, we'll wait till Larry gets in here and I think he had something we had.
Well, he was gonna look over, and make sure they had changed the paperwork on us since last
Yeah.
time.
I mean, that sounds funny, but it can change
That's what
in
he
2
said.
weeks.
And
Maybe those three names probably.
All right.
Also today, can we, do it without it being on the minutes, John? Larry Douglas called me, and he was wanting to get off of the 911 board and appoint Joe Miller on it.
Okay.
Can we do that with it not being on the minutes?
Oh,
or should we wait till next?
I mean, that's,
We'll do that later, but, you know, Larry wants to get off of it since he's no longer, you know. so. You want time? You want to finish what I said? Did you, I guess first off, have a chance to look at the rules on testing for these prospects for your position? Anything changed? Okay.
You can submit up to 5, and then you submit it with a resolution, and I can help with that. I've got it
Okay.
in the computer where we can just type it in. Once you tell me who you want, I can type it in, and then you pass the resolution. And John signs and certifies your resolutions.
I think the three names the board's had a chance to talk. I think Joe Matasevic, Samuel Tezera,
Okay.
and Dustin Turner. Those three we would like to have test.
Okay. I'll need to get their, I think it's name, address, and their PE registration number is what
Yeah.
goes on that resolution.
will you want to take these with you then?
If you want, and I will, I'll go prepare the resolution, bring it back up.
Okay.
You can pass the resolution, and then he can just sign it later, but,
Okay.
or if you want me to go, I'll go take care of it. It won't take me but a few minutes.
Well, what else you got?
Yeah.
Up to you.
Yeah, we'll get your stuff.
I mean,
done.
you can go use my, is it online, the resolution, or is it in your computer?
It's in my computer
Okay.
right now. We had talked about, here is the specs I put together for a pickup. I've got it, it will be in the paper tomorrow. Couldn't get it in last week, but I've got it set up to take bids. They've got to have it back to me by 4 o'clock Monday. Found out we're under a deadline cutoff date for ordering. And it's the end of next week. So unless you can, unless they've got one sitting on a lot or can find one.
So these are all the things that the other one had options to do.
That was options. In talking to the dealers, there's already an option or two on here they don't recommend. I put on there undercoating and rust proofing, which used to be a big thing, and it's not anymore. They said, you can get it done, but one dealer says it's a waste of money. They're either, the metal is, this has been such a big thing over the years.
Well, you know, they used to rust out so bad, but
They've protected the metal, and they put plastic where it doesn't corrode and so on, so he said it's really a non-issue anymore and doesn't recommend it. He said, I'll put a price in, but I don't recommend it.
you know, I haven't been around these. Well, is a 6-cylinder, is it strong enough on 4-wheel drive? Or, I really don't know.
Probably.
I would think it would be, since they, you know,
I know in the Ford, the only 6-cylinder they will offer with what we're speccing is they call it EconoBoost. It's a turbo, and it costs you more.
Okay, would it be as much then as the V8, or?
Be more expensive than the V8,
Sure not.
and no better fuel economy, I've asked.
I'd rather have that.
It's about a $900 add-on,
I wonder why that is.
because it's got a turbo on it.
Yeah.
Newer, fancier engine. And he said, oh, if you're gonna do a bunch of towing, I said, we're not doing a bunch of towing. I said, I'm having the towing package, I spec'd the towing package. That way you got the hitch and everything, if we need to pull a trailer.
Yeah.
If you know, sign trailer, I've done that, you know, and you've got lights and everything. And the other thing too is if you put the towing package on, typically that puts your transmission cooler and some things on there that are nice maintenance type issues. It just, I think makes it more serviceable.
Yeah.
Longer lasting vehicle.
Well, you know, anytime I ever had the transmission overhauled over at Randy, we'd always, when it got back, it'd have oil cooler on it. So, you know, I guess it's a good thing.
I wanted you to see that. Is there anything on there that you really want to say, nah, we don't need that? One thing, I put on rust proof, that's on the bottom first, rust proof and then undercoat. One dealer kind of recommended the factory spray and bed liner. Tell you what, I've had the plastic insert bed liners and I've taken them out. But the spray and bed liner, it's more of a rubber coating. It's a good protection.
Yeah.
And he was pushing that, and that's gonna be a $400 or $500 issue, I'll tell you right now.
Is that a short bed, Larry?
Yeah, I changed this, in the Ford contract, the state contract, which is a Ford, they offer a 5.5 and a 6.5 foot bed. I like the idea of the 6.5 foot bed.
And then,
But some of the others offer, I think, I lowered it to 5 feet 9 inches because I got a spec book, and that's what Chevrolet offers. And I'm sure GMC, I think GMC's probably the same. I'm not sure. Dodge may not have that, I don't know. A lot of this stuff is gonna be, you buy the truck and it's gonna be included. It's gonna be included in the base price, that's an option. And one dealer says, well, most of this is included. I says, then just put out there included. You don't have a price for that option. Just put included, you know, that's, will be included in the bid price of the vehicle.
Like the cab running boards, that probably wouldn't be included with it.
No, it's not.
Or four-corner strobe system, that's that light system.
That's those lights, and that's gonna be a big issue. I don't know how many of them can really offer that to us. That may be something that we just have to
But you need to,
have done ourselves. It's nice, but we can get it done locally. We can even do it ourselves, but I talked to, David Travis, Water District, they just had all their trucks done. And I know who did his. I don't know if we can talk the guy into doing ours or not, but it'd be nice, because he's done several for them in the last month. And he's done it on the side. He's a mechanic for one of the dealers in Duke, and he's on a water district board, and he's done it on the side for them. And he didn't want to charge them anything, but I would want to pay
See
him, and
where
they did too.
They can help you in the evening for safety, like if run across something in the road and you gotta stop.
I use them when I'm out, like a repaving job, when you're along the road. I'll use them in the daylight. But, and they show up, you know, they call more attention than just the flashers that are standard. But yeah, emergencies at nighttime, they really call attention, because, I mean, you can see them from a long way off. They'll just kind of light up the whole area. It's, yeah. A flasher is still kind of hard to see at night, but these ain't. It's a safety thing.
all those dump trucks have them, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they've had them on them for years. So,
Anything y'all see that should be taken off?
Nope.
Okay. Guess we'll stick with it.
that, I'm gonna say, from what I was told, I think the rust proofing and undercoating, it makes sense. And I talked to another guy about it, he says, you don't need it. The dealer told me about it, says, dealers do it, charge you for it, but, and when you ask the companies that do that, what do you put it on? Well, very little, really.
What model is that one truck you have now, that one that's tore up?
The Explorer,
Yeah,
04, 9 years.
9 years old.
Yep.
When would you have traded it off? Another year or two?
We typically have not traded them off,
Or
but
buy
that's
it?
an option.
Or you would buy one?
We just buy one and kind of put that in a, it was kind of iffy how much use we were gonna get out of this one. It was gonna be a runaround vehicle.
Yeah.
I figured for the, when we got another person and another vehicle for them, I was gonna recommend we get another vehicle for them. And
What do you feel like we should do with this vehicle? If we're gonna buy one?
the 04, we could see if one of these dealers, whoever we want to give the bid to, if they would take it in on a trade-in, we can save it, sell it at the auction, which is what we've done before. It's kind of open what you wanna do. We can put it out for sealed bids, advertise and put it out for sealed bids, with the understanding that
I'm afraid trading it in, we just wouldn't get nothing out of it.
I'm not sure how much you're gonna get out of it anyway, but, we've done pretty good at auctions, even with vehicles that, cause somebody will come along, I've got a transmission, or I think I can rebuild that, or I can do it and make a good vehicle
If
out of it.
somebody could change them, they could get a used transmission and, maybe come out a little bit.
That might be our best option, and it's just hold off for an auction.
I think it would probably get us the most money,
Yeah.
biggest bang for the
So do
buck.
what, Jason?
Maybe hold off
Hold
for the
off.
auction.
Well, when are you gonna have auction?
We just had one, was it last?
Yeah.
fall?
You can get
It'll be a while.
You can get over all the time.
It'll be a while, so, that's, you never know. You might have a dealer that, we could always ask.
Jason, why don't we, seal bid it? I mean, if you can get overall, if it's 2 or 3 years, it's gonna sit around out there and.
If you wanna get rid of it, if, the two options I think would be the best would be either, see if we can trade it in. All they can say is, we ain't gonna give you nothing.
Yeah.
Or, like you said, seal bid it since it's not runnable.
Get rid of it.
What do you
The
think?
mice will get in it.
You don't need to sit around, that's for sure.
and you
It'll
get
run
money.
forward right now, but they say that ain't gonna last long.
Someone needs to buy it with circle drive.
They told me, and I've had other people tell me, when you lose reverse first,
Yeah.
but forward gear ain't very far behind us. And so we got it, took it to the shop and parked it, haven't driven it. It's parked behind the office right now because I've been cleaning it out.
So you think we ought to get rid of the rough roof, or what's your,
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. Not, they may give us a price, but we won't include that in an option when we order. Yes.
I could see maybe more of a northern county where there's salt on the roads all the time.
Mhm.
That'd be an option.
I kicked around and talked to, talked to David and Bill. And the old 95 that I'm driving, which was my truck from 95 until 04, I'm driving it again right now, and it's over the rear wheel is rusting out. But here it is,
13 years. Is that right? No, 17, 18, yeah.
18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
18 years old. 200 and some odd thousand miles old. And has been a good truck. Old, straight, 306 cylinder. Okay, so I'll come in with hopefully some bids.
Okay. Are you bringing that back today?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll go take care of this
Yeah,
right
we'll
now
be here.
and
Okay.
come back.
All right, good. Thank
It
you.
will take me a few minutes typing in, I think.
All right, thank you.
gonna stack the bills?
Yeah, oh, you got it.
Jason, I need to run the state's attorney and Shawnee Development.
Okay.
Okay. We have talked, some of the people in my office about the Humvees that we've got over here, about taking those to the old dump site down by the county, garage out on North Avenue in that, fenced-in area, and kind of provide more parking over here. I
Do you
don't,
think it'll be damaged or anything?
I don't know how you damage a military
Yeah.
piece of equipment, you know?
I mean, you can padlock that fence. I don't-
That's what we had thought to do, yeah.
What do you think, Sheriff, on that?
I don't know, would be a bad idea.
Okay.
I mean, because there's plenty of room out there.
Well, and that would give you more parking here, especially on court days. and
I just
stuff.
remember, I thought you all had mentioned, like, once a month, we need to go out there and start them up and do that.
We're doing that, we're taking them to training and driving them and
Okay.
stuff. We're also going to, the thought was that we would take one of them and actually stage it at Joppa. We talked to Danny McCaney, who's a deputy and also a fire chief at Joppa.
Okay.
They've got a place to store it, and they're starting a medical response and rescue thing that would give them a vehicle they could go off
Okay.
the beaten path with.
It would be stored indoors there in Joppa?
That's my understanding.
In a firehouse or something?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Also, we've got a training that we're going to, at the Lake of Egypt Fire Protection District, on the 4th and the 5th. And it's a training chief from the Joplin, Missouri, Fire Department, talking about the tornado that they had over there. It's not open to the public, but there's no cost involved, so some of us will be going up to that.
Good.
Also, along the lines, I've started to do some of the online classes that I have to have in the next year, so we'll start with that. And I've had my orientation with Brian Breckenmeyer and Marion.
How did they go?
Went real well. There's just 2 or 3 of us at that, the new people, but,
This training that's at no cost, how many
we look
people
like,
do you feel like would go with you?
looks like 3 people are gonna go with me at this time, so. may have some more, we've got some time yet on that. Also, I've heard from AES Environmental in Calvert about the hazardous material thing that we've done in the past. And they're wanting to schedule a date of April the 20th on that again. Be no cost to us. They said that there had been a couple locations used in the past, either out at the county highway department or also between the casino and the hotel down here on city property. And wouldn't know, and said both locations seem to have worked real well, just want to know what our preference was on that, and if we wanted, something had been said to them about some extra flyers maybe to take to the schools and send home with
The kids.
the kids.
That'll,
Wonder what your thoughts were on that.
that'd be fine. I know my kids are at elementary school, and I guess they must drop off the information with the principal, and the principal must give it to the teachers, and then they just put it,
I would think so, yeah.
put it in the kids' folders that they bring home. You know, usually the day before, a few days before, you know. I think in the last couple of years, haven't we did it at the county shed out there?
I don't know, I remember them doing it down by the river, by the old Boy Scout paper drive trailer down
The
there.
household hazardous materials, do you remember, Sheriff?
I don't remember what.
I don't know that I don't know that the county's ever actually sponsored a household
the
thing.
city
The
has.
city has several times, and it's generally down
Okay,
here.
okay. So do you guys do it out on North Avenue then?
I would think, I mean, what do you all think on that, Gerald and Jeff?
Well,
Seems to me you may have to make sure.
Mr.
you know,
Glasgow
everybody's on
needs to be
board.
informed.
Right.
No,
Okay.
everybody's
They've got
on the
one in the
same
room out
page.
there.
He should be back shortly, he's went to get something, so we can ask him about that.
Okay.
But, does the city and the county host it together, or has the city in the past just did it on their own?
The city in the past have just done it on their own, but the county could bring it in. I think the only recycling thing that I think that the county's ever really the county itself participated in was on used tires.
Okay.
We may have had one, I don't remember, hazardous material.
Well, they contacted me, so, I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Right. Well, that'd be good. I guess, we just wanna make sure we, you know, the city don't have a date similar to ours or something.
Okay,
But,
okay.
you know, I think it'd be a good thing to host for the
I think
county
it gets a good
residents.
PR.
Yes, I think it'd be great.
Okay, also, just received word, and I don't know if you all were aware of this or not, but there was supposed to be a training exercise. It was basically being done by the city on April the 9th. It was going to involve Honeywell and all that, and that has been canceled due to confusion at this time, so. But I'm sure that will be rescheduled.
Okay.
But also, in regards to that, you already brought this up, the only other thing I had was the Honeywell tour day after tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Thursday.
Thursday, correct.
And just meet out there, Joe.
Yeah,
No cell phone.
no cell phones, they told us, and we gotta bring a picture ID.
Okay.
I was gonna get there maybe about 15 minutes till.
Mhm.
And do not leave a pistol or a shell in your glove compartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if the dog can go in there, so you better.
Leave Agnes at home.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, I'll wait to hear what
Yeah, we'll
Mr.
talk.
Glasgow gets here.
Okay.
Come in.
Is this Natalie?
You can come in.
Hey,
Ted, do you mind if she comes in? She just wants to make a brief presentation. Come on in, have a
thank
seat.
you. I think Patrick was coming too, I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
You
he's
wanna
not
wait for
allowed.
him? He's not allowed? Okay.
You all right today?
Doing good, how are you?
Good, good.
So you talked to Steve?
Yeah, Steve called me, I guess it was last week, and invited us to your all's next meeting. And,
Okay.
I wanna make sure I get that date.
Okay.
It's the same date each month, like,
It is, but we changed it, this next month because we're all attending a training in, Carterville. We typically meet on the third Wednesday of each month, but this month it's gonna be March the 27th at 9:30.
That's in the morning?
Yes.
That's just at your office over
At
here?
the mental health office, yeah. So I just wanted to take a few minutes of you guys' time just to let you know kind of who we are and what we're doing. Our official name is McDAC, the Massac County Drug Awareness Coalition. We've been in existence for about a year. I think it was started, I went and talked to Ted and expressed some of my concerns to him about the amount of drug use, meth labs in Massac County, and we were kind of
Sit up here.
I'm good back here.
brainstorming what could be done about that. So I did some research on the Attorney General's website and found a lot that supported how effective community coalitions are in fighting community drug abuse. So what we've done this last year is we've just tried to make the community aware of how big of a problem it is here. We've tried to grow. Our membership has increased a great deal. I think our first meeting, we had 7 people, and the meeting last month, we had 21. So I truly believe that we have the community behind us, and they want something to be done. Unfortunately, right now, we are strictly volunteer. We have no funds other than what possibly, Rotary might give us, or Kiwanis, or, City National Bank was generous and gave us some money. So it's difficult to continue kind of on the path that we're on with just volunteers and no money. So we're working on applying for a grant. Actually, the application's actually due next week. It's a federal grant, so it's very competitive. The chances of us getting it, I'm not sure what they are, but I think we have a decent shot at it. But if we don't, get the grant, we're gonna kind of be back to square one with no funds. So, we want the community to know that we're trying to grow, and we're trying to meet the needs of the schools, of law enforcement, and all the different sectors of the community. But it's just hard to do with the resources we have right now, so.
So what's y'all's mission statement, what's your goals, and what is you're just going after the people to try to get them in rehab, so they're not into
Right
drugs?
now, well, our first year, our goal was to form the group and just to promote awareness. And kind of how we did that was we initiated Red Ribbon Week in the schools again, and we've tried to work really hard with the schools. But I think from here on out, we definitely want to increase the prevention that's going on in the schools and the education that's being provided to students. We want to continue to promote like the P2D2 program that Ted Holder's got in his office, and work with that. If we can provide better services to people that have drug and alcohol problems, it just whatever the needs of the community are. We're looking really strongly at a program called Parents Who Host Lose the Most, and that's a program that specifically targets parents that allow drinking in the home or buying alcohol for kids to have a party in the home, because a lot of what we've heard through conversations is that's a big problem here in the community. That's a program that we're strongly looking at trying to get going.
That parents buy alcohol for their children.
Yes. But if they allow alcohol use in the home, we want to educate them on why that's dangerous to do and how that affects the teenager. They're more likely to drink when they leave the home, what the consequences are if they do that. So those are 2 programs that we're strongly looking at wanting to promote and continue, is the P2T2 and then the Parents Who Host Lose the Most.
Okay.
That's kind of our goals for this next year, is to really look at those, so.
I know
Any other
we look
questions?
forward to trying to make your meeting on the 27th
Okay,
to learn more about the program.
that'd be great. I do want to say just real quick too, that we have a wonderful, wonderful group of volunteers, and there's no way that we would be where we're at today if we didn't have the volunteers that we've had. I mean, it's just been amazing what people have done and how much of their time they've given and the passion they have about, making this happen, because this grant application has been extremely tedious and time consuming, and I've had about 6 or 7 people that have spent a lot of time working on it. So I just definitely wanna give them a lot of, thanks for all they've done. So, but we would love to have you at our meeting, any of you, for sure. Do you have any questions?
Not really, maybe a suggestion, I don't know how Ted's coming about with the, outreach from the churches. I mean, that may be something that all needs to be tied together, just to make the community aware that you're here,
Right.
I guess.
Well, we've had the presentations at Zion United Church of Christ. I don't know if anybody has seen the flyers for that, but Ted talked, and Chief Massey talked the first week,
Yeah,
and
I
then
heard that.
Patrick talked this past Sunday, then I'm actually gonna be speaking this Sunday. And Pastor Nelson with the Ministerial Association has been very supportive. We've been to the concerned pastors meetings, and we actually have probably 4 or 5 pastors that come to our meetings on a monthly
That's good.
basis. So I feel like we definitely have the church's commitment and support. But I definitely think we need to continue to let people know that we're here, because there's still some question about that.
Well, thank you.
Any other suggestions?
Not that I know of, off the top of my head.
Patrick, is there anything you guys wanna say anything about the coalition, since you guys have been involved from,
I'm just
Day
amazed
one.
how much it's grown. I mean, we started off, really didn't know what it was gonna be like you said, what, 7 or 8 people in the first meeting? And more people have shown up, wanting to get involved in this, because they see that it affects the whole community. And the ministerial alliance that we have, like I said, a lot of those pastors are coming to this meeting, so it's tied together. We just, like Natalie said, we're just, hurting for funding right now, and we hope this grant goes through, because we've got a lot of stuff we wanna do, but like everything else, it takes money.
cause I'm a counselor in mental health, and this was just something I do in my spare time. I'm not really paid to do this, and I like doing it. I feel a lot of passion about it. I want it to grow and I want it to be successful, but, really my time there is devoted to my position as a counselor. And they've been very gracious to let me, step away to come today, or, to do small things, but I can't devote very much of my time at the office to this, so.
I think, like you mentioned, try to get the children involved, and like you said, information to the principals and stuff like that.
The schools have been very supportive. They usually have one representative at every meeting. We've had several law enforcement, representatives at every meeting. We have parents, we have just community members. I'm probably leaving some people out, because there's just I feel like we have the right people from every sector of the community and we're missing government. We really wanna get you guys involved too.
Well, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Larry, you wanna, I think Joe has a question of you. And then, this won't take but a little bit.
Hey, I'm just TBA, you know it.
That's right.
You haven't got anything else going on.
That's right.
I mean, just sitting around.
Larry, with Joe, he had got a letter from the AES Environmental, and they was wanting to do a household hazard event. They had done it in the past for the city of Metropolis, but we was wanting to know if it would, with the county, if we could do it and use the parking lot there. 35. Yeah. Okay.
Have you done that?
Okay.
We've had one there was one not long ago.
Well, I thought,
I was in
Larry,
4-H or
I
maybe,
didn't
or something
remember
like that.
I thought Larry
Yeah.
Harris did one a while back.
Okay.
They've done 2 in the last year.
Is that the one Honeywell helped fund?
I think
That's
they,
what it was.
I think Honeywell has to do that part of
That
the
was
NRC.
part of their community service
Yeah.
type thing, I think, is what it
Well,
was.
we're gonna plan for April the 20th if nobody has
Okay.
any objections.
April the 20th?
Which is
All
a
right,
Saturday.
shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
right, sounds good, Joe.
Yeah, we're on the list, we get, we'll probably be getting 2 or 3 a year. They have to bond and insure that for years, since they use it as a collection site. And every year I get a notice that they have renewed that insurance and bond because they collected hazardous material on our site.
Well, I apologize,
Yeah.
I didn't, was not aware of that.
I wonder if it's a big response. Has it been, you know?
It has been some, yeah, I think, with the 2 recent ones, it probably won't be as big as response because people have gotten rid of it, but, it tends to be the one that we get calls on every once in a while, and we haven't, they've done it out there, we've had nothing to do with it, is the tires.
That's what John was talking about, yeah.
That's the one I remember, because I think I used that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I noticed something and I made a phone call and it was a good phone call. For IDOT to consider them, they will have to be registered in the state of Illinois. They have been across this before, with a previous county here in District 9. And the fella had started the process by the time the interview. He didn't have a license yet, but he had his number. So he was going to be registered, so they interviewed him. He said if they're not interviewed, or if don't have a license or indication they won't even interview them. You can submit them, but they won't. And it was a good call. He says, you need to submit a copy of the resume and a photostatic copy of their license with the resolution, so.
So we have to get a hold of them. Now, is there one of them that does not have an Illinois license?
Mr. Turner is, at least all he has listed on here is Kentucky. And Mr. Tesru
Yeah.
didn't have his license number on here, so we'll have to get a hold of him and get the license number put on here.
And we can contact Mr. Turner to see if he does have it in Illinois.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he does and just.
If he does, we can write it in,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
So here's, we gotta submit 2 original copies, John.
Okay.
And I'll make
But when
copies of these and give these back to you.
You're gonna submit these, correct?
That's whatever the board wants to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it now, or you want to give them another week to
Well, do
pull
we
the
need,
info?
yeah, do we wanna come up with info first, or what's our plan? Because when you submit it, you're gonna have to have photocopies of what,
Their license.
which we don't have here.
I
So
can-
we're
we
gonna have
can-
to
I can
get a
get a
hold
hold
of
of
him, just have him run them out.
I
there
can get
to
a
you.
hold of them and have them faxed
Okay,
down
that
to me.
suits me.
You know, if you wanna go on and move forward with
I would
this.
like to just move forward, and
Yeah.
Mr. Turner, we can call, see if he has an Illinois license.
Okay,
The
I got
other
you.
2, we can just get them to
Fax us their
driver's license.
So basically, what we
PE
need is.
license.
PE license, oh, that you went to driver's license.
I don't care about driver's license.
What, Larry, what if Turner doesn't have an Illinois license?
You can submit his name. IDOT won't even interview him.
Well, how long does it take to get that? They have to
I
have a
don't know.
test, or-
It could take a while.
I think we would go ahead and just submit it and then
Yeah.
let him deal with IDOT. If it can't happen, it just can't happen.
If he wants it expedited, he can get on.
Dennis told me the last time, they did deal with it because there were some candidates out of Missouri. And they had pursued it, and by the time the interview process come around, they didn't have their license yet, but they had their number and a confirmation from the Department of Regulation that they were going to get it, so IDOT went on and interviewed them. But he says, we won't even interview them if they don't have an Illinois license or some sort of information that says they're gonna have an Illinois license. It's not necessarily reciprocity. Typically it is, but Illinois has been a little bit iffy in the past. They don't automatically grant one. I'll make copies of these.
Yeah, because we
John and I'll
need
get together.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make that motion. We submit those 3 names.
I second the motion. All agree, say aye.
Aye.
And then I feel like we should contact the other ones and let them know that we met with some other people. That'd be all right.
We'll just pen a letter or something, or what's our, call them, or?
Well, yeah, I'll just write down the names, the phone numbers, we'll just split it off. Each of us call a couple of them.
Okay. I was asked to share that with you, Mr. Rasmussen.
Oh, okay.
So, your share, he thanked us.
So you're gonna take care of getting hold of the people for their license?
I can have him fax it down to either John or
And then
my
are you
office.
gonna call Mr. Turner and ask him about the Illinois?
I can, if you want me to.
If you don't mind?
Sure.
That's take care of it. Then we'll just notify the people that we decided.
I did call that guy that, it looked like the application's been run through a
Yeah.
war zone.
Yeah.
I told him I'd call him back, tell him what we decided.
Jeff, we got a, I guess it was last Friday you gave that to me, wasn't it? Larry? That resume, remember that just came in?
Oh, yes. No, we got it, last Tuesday afternoon in the mail.
And,
I told him we'd already opened them and
yeah, a resume just came in, I mean, it was after the deadline. So, took it by and dropped it, Gerald told me we could see if he'd call, break the heart.
I'm just sorry, Warren. It was postmarked February the ninth, and we got it, March 5th.
It looked like someone had stepped all over it on the back of it.
it had been lost somewhere.
And it looked horrible.
And I told him that, we just got it.
What'd he say?
He told me when he mailed it, I can't remember, I guess that's when it was.
Yeah, it was plain on the postmark, February 11th.
Yeah.
And,
Where
and
at?
Leah walked in and says, we just got this in the mail, and it was after I went back to board meeting last week, we get the mail about noon. And she come in after lunch, and I says, oh my, stamp that thing. So she stamped it, and I initialed receives, so if there was any question. And then I called, got hold of Jason, and got it to him Tuesday afternoons.
You got it. All right. Anything else you have? All right, thanks a lot. You'll make copies?
I'll make copies of these and bring these originals back to you, and then I'll get with John here in just a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Dale, what do you got now?
I bet he's got bills. Well, that's good. Cause we ain't got much money.
This is always nice. Disconnect notes from the city. They really good. Really nice for that price. First off, how's your employee down that lost his home? Is he?
Tremendous response from the public. It was just unreal. I mean, he was coming in like every day, getting clothes and stuff out of the squad room. I just walked in there a while ago, and there's another table full.
No kidding, that's good.
City National Bank's doing real well with the savings account they've started over there.
Good.
Really big turnout from people in the county.
Is he taking some time off, try to get things settled?
Yeah.
Okay. Just luckily nobody was in the house.
It was just amazing how fast that house went.
I seen on the, I don't know if it's Channel 3 or Channel 6, and literally nothing was left.
No.
I mean, it was just like the foundation.
Yeah, well, guys were out there that watched it. I mean, it was on top of that little hill, no trees around it, wind was blowing out of the north, it's just like a blower on that.
Good
fire.
dry wind.
Yeah. Did the house have a basement? Cause I was wondering where everything went, I mean,
It
His
fell-
home was not that old, was it?
I don't know.
I don't remember it being an old farmhouse or anything.
I think he bought it from his father. Because usually when houses burn, they just fall all apart.
Well,
This
yeah.
one fell in.
well, that's what, when I was watching on TV, I was like, where did it go? I mean, it was just literally nothing there. I mean, it was just gone, so.
There's nothing to clean up.
No. Did they figure out what caused it?
He said something about there might have been a heat lamp on in the house, maybe that was it, but that's all I've heard.
Well, tell them what to think about. We'll try to get this 60 days paid, hopefully. We get some balance in the accounts. I know payroll's next week, but
There's a couple things on there I was gonna point out. On the first page at the very bottom of the 30 days, there's a bill for $11.96 for integrity management.
yeah.
It's gonna be a computer, an evidence computer in our evidence room. bar scanners. That's gonna be paid for out of the DUI fund and the computer fund that we've got over there, so there's not gonna be money out of the line item for this, we'll pay for it all.
So this one should just go ahead and get paid then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's two bills on there for $350 apiece to the Illinois Sheriff's Association. That's two training sessions that JD and John Coleman have to go to every year. The Illinois Sheriff's Association puts that on.
And is that something that needs to be paid by a certain date for them to be able to go, or what?
I think it really, the check needs to go in before they get there. I'll have to ask Sandy and see. If it is, she can get hold of Juanita.
Okay, work it out.
And I was gonna let you know that this Friday afternoon, no, next Friday at noon, the city's gonna cut the power off to the courthouse. I hope Marcia's got all the notices around here.
She did, I forgot to tell the Commissioners Day, because, I mean, it's supposed to be off for several hours, so I think in my office probably after lunch we'll just come back in, because anymore, there's nothing you can do without.
Is it a maintenance issue?
This pole right out here,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they can do the electrical upgrades. They did mine last week, but this one, they're gonna cut the power off and switch everything over to the new transformers.
Does that affect 911 or anything?
Over there, we had a backup generator,
Mhm.
so we didn't lose anything. But over here, there's no way to operate the courthouse because we don't have a generator. And the mayor said it'd probably take at least 3 hours.
Well, surely all these offices know to have their systems
Oh, yeah, mine will be done.
safety up.
So we make sure we work it out with the judges, so there's no court that afternoon.
Yeah, definitely what Jeff said, because you don't want them to
Be
put
working on
power back
computers
onto
or
it
something,
and
yeah.
have some power surges, and, you know, while they're working on it or bringing it back on, don't want to mess anything up. It'd be good to, hopefully everyone will do the precautionaries, whatever they gotta do.
And last Thursday, I had a gentleman come in from Honeywell, a company that works on the boiler. I don't know what branch division it is, but he was telling me that he had a couple of supervisors that wanted to come in and talk to us about some public money that was available for upgrades. He said right now Randolph County is getting some of this money, they're going through an upgrade. So I don't know if somebody want to call Randolph County and find out what they're doing, but
Okay.
they want to come here on March the 20th at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, let's do that. We can get some money for free. What day is it on?
It's on a Wednesday.
So what you're saying is that they think they could do some upgrades on our boiler for no cost to the county?
I think maybe it's beyond the boilers, you know, once before they gave us an estimate or something like on the windows and other things. When, I guess it was back around before Christmas, Mike was downstairs and I mentioned something to him about, you know, if there was ever any money available again, like there was when I did last time, you know, I'd like to talk to somebody about it, so I guess that's where this has evolved to.
We gonna meet over in your office, or you wanna meet over here?
You come over here,
Okay. Sounds good.
I mean, this is the building they're gonna be looking at, might as well give them a tour of it, let them look around.
All right. What, but you don't know what improvements Randolph County's doing?
No, I just found that out yesterday, so. And there was a couple other counties, but the one that I know was closest to this was Randolph County.
I seen there was actually a bill that came in for Honeywell. To replace
That was where they, it was a pop-off valve or something that was shutting down. Figured.
Marcia said she came in a couple times and, I don't know what you call it, the bottom of the furnace where the gas comes in, they were blowing off the bottom of the furnace, and it was a valve problem. Burners.
Mhm.
Then her sump pump went out
Yeah.
Monday.
First day of her vacation last week, I went downstairs, turned the boiler on, nothing happened, so I had to call her and wake her up on the first day of vacation. She had to walk me through the process.
And then we got the call about the flooding,
Yeah,
which turned out not to be flooding at all, but if,
Water's water, huh?
anytime you see water in the basement, you know.
It sounded like
It
flood,
was-
huh?
cold water pipes were condensating because, I mean, if you ever want a steam bath,
Go down
when
there.
that boiler
It's
Mr.
hot,
Craig
isn't
can,
it?
on a cold day, you can get it through that little boiler room.
Well, I could go downstairs and shut the heat off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and come back at 6:30 the next morning, it's still hot downstairs. That's,
I know last election, when we tried to set up things, every time I walked down that ramp and come through the boiler room, I mean, it'd fog up where you couldn't, if you had glasses, you couldn't see. I mean, it fogged up that immediately where you could not see.
That's her husband, does he work a different shift now?
midnights.
Okay, 'cause I always see his car, I didn't know. He used to be on days, didn't he?
Every once in a while, they like to trade up.
Good, something different. How's everything going with the cars and everything?
So far.
Jail pretty full.
Yeah, it always is.
How did do we have our inspection yet?
She's over there right now.
Oh, today? Okay, knew it was coming up.
Yeah, buy a couple cars, you guys give me money.
We'd like for you to have some money.
So
We like
We
to
just
resell
gotta
about
find
half of them. Do what?
We just gotta find that money first.
That sounds good, maybe something to work out good with this, big boiler, you
I
know?
hope so. They're excited about wanting to come here, so
That's a good sign.
they know our financial
Yeah.
condition, because Mike's told them.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, I don't know, I guess I can ask them to send us one. I mean, the meeting just happened last week, so we got 2 or 3 weeks before they, 911 has another meeting. I can ask them to just send us a letter. He called me.
Do it, isn't it, John? You're supposed to send a letter?
It'd be better for you that you know, just get it in the minutes that you a letter of resignation.
I'll call him
And
today.
that'll create a vacancy and then you can fill it.
I called, he just called me on the telephone last week and said that, you know, he felt like, you know, Joe should get on there and he should get off. So I said, okay, but yeah, I'll call him and ask him to mail us a letter.
Becky Riggs told me up there that, you know, we were gonna set that meeting between Cedar Lane and Patrick, and
Yeah,
she wants to know when you can come.
whatever, I mean,
She's ready to do it anytime.
who Becky is?
Yep.
She asked me earlier about, something about, she come in last week and was wanting to schedule a meeting, and was she gonna schedule that, or you guys about the ramp or something?
Now, is that the
No.
meeting she's
She
talking about?
was here last week.
Cedar Lane,
Cedar Lane.
yeah, remember Windhorse and us and,
New guys.
somebody,
Frank?
oh yeah, definitely. Seemed like someone else maybe.
Are they wanting to meet with us again, or what's their,
Yeah, they're wanting to.
Talk about them
Windhorse-
plats,
Patrick, is supposed to have checked and to see what
the plat.
those plats, you know, that weren't
Yeah.
signed and all, and one was signed, and see what
Oh.
the deal is there, to see what they can do.
I can meet,
Uh,
I don't go back on, I mean, I'm working midnight some, but I can meet during the day. Just,
Yeah,
I'll work around it.
well, I thought the morning would be better, so, does that suit you?
Yeah, I'll be fine, I'll be half asleep in the morning. I'd be fine.
What do you think, 8 o'clock, or,
Hey,
Well,
you're gonna
be-
kill me, aren't you? You want me to sleep 24
what,
hours?
oh, yeah, what time do you get off of,
I
work?
get
5?
home at 7, I can lay down for 30 minutes and come in.
Yeah. Well, you know, I got.
I'll just sleep out, I'll just
sleep.
sleep out in the parking lot.
Yeah, Patrick don't get here at 8, so maybe 9 would be better.
Yeah, that's usually when I hit my good sleep at 9, so that's when I get,
yeah,
that's when I get the alarm thrown across the room.
So I'll have to get up early
Take
then,
account.
come on in.
so, what's their goal? I mean, just to tell them where we're at?